What up, y'all? Back at it with another one. Feel like today was a good day to make another one of these videos. So hopefully this will find the people it needs to find. But this one is going to be a little bit of an amalgamation of some of the other things I talked about, some of the other topics, and also a little bit more about my personal life. You know, what I've been working on for damn near 11 years now. But to start off with how, people just aren't kind of what they seem. There's a whole lot of peacocking and pretending going on in life. I know you guys see it. We're all kind of trying to make sense of what exactly is going on, since reality isn't what it seems to be anymore. But it's always kind of been like this. People have always kind of been putting on characters. There's always been kind of performances that's been going on in life. So this is nothing new. But I feel like now, more than ever, there's a lot more people just pretending to be someone that they're not. And it isn't by choice. I don't believe we really have too many choices in life. People are just trying to find the best way to survive in life, honestly. So I definitely don't fault those people because they are who they are. I am who I am. We all pretty much are the same. So you can't be yourself without them. So I appreciate them for showing me, the rewards of being authentic versus what you get when you're being inauthentic, the people that you attract, the things that you do, the life that you lead, and kind of the things you have to do to keep that facade going on a day-to-day basis. So I appreciate those people. But I think I made a video earlier on about how I've never really been embraced by my local, the place I've been working for the past 10 years. And I got in when I was about 19 years old. Went into it with the expectations, because before I got in, I was in high school. I took like a small engines class and also a welding class my senior year, and I kind of gravitated really towards it. Those are one of the very few classes at my school that I actually enjoyed going to. So I always knew I was mechanically gifted, more mechanically inclined, and then that goes along with autism and all that. But that was something that I kind of, really took towards. So I wanted to continue that. And someone from my parents' church was also part of the union, helped get me in, and told me that if I want to continue welding, I can go do it with them. So that was kind of my goal when I joined, was to get as many welding certs as possible and kind of also travel the country and the world in doing that, because that has seemed like a pretty cool, ambitious goal. Just doing what I loved and try to get out of the abusive situation that I was in at home, and try to make a name for myself, and kind of really get out of that rut that I was in, or at least just get away from the people who I just didn't want to be around. And as soon as I got in to that local, I can already tell that I was never ever going to get that opportunity to do what I wanted to do. Mainly because nothing that what I did or said is just because of who I am. I stand out. I'm a pretty gifted person, and like a lot of you probably know, once you are very gifted, you're very intelligent, you're very attractive, and other people can see that, they will either try to control you or they'll try to destroy you. One of those things. They'll try to control you because they already hate you, and if they can't control you, then they'll try to destroy you. And that was kind of the treatment that I received. Like I said, at 19 years old, I was just not very well received there, even though I did everything I could to get everything I needed to get done. The fact that I did not give the people who were already in power that feeling of superiority over me, they went through that cycle of hating me, trying to control me, and trying to destroy me. And I learned pretty early on, by my first or second year there, that these people are dangerous, and not in the traditional dangerous, as in, you actually do something to them, and they'll kind of confront you directly and tell you what's going on. That's a traditional danger. It's the new cowardice danger, is where they'll say one thing to your face and do something else behind your back, and get a whole bunch of people involved in it. That's the new danger that I'm seeing right now, which is dangerous because it gets a whole lot of other people involved. It takes a lot of manipulation and lies to keep that kind of power, and that's dangerous because it gets so many other people involved that traditionally probably wouldn't have been involved if those people were actually, as powerful as they think they are. They got to get a whole bunch of people with them to kind of keep that power. They don't actually have that power within themselves, or at least they don't think they do. So they just try to get other people involved in it. And I figured that out at a very, very young age. So I pretty much dedicated myself for the past 10 years to see how powerful these people are, kind of get their connections, seeing where their power comes from, see how many people are involved with them. And during that time, I was spending time with people I didn't want to spend time with. I was befriending people that I didn't see as friends. I was living with people I didn't really want to live with. I was even dating people I didn't really want to date. But those were all needs, because I knew I needed to get to the bottom of this. I knew these people were pretending, and pretenders are like some of the most dangerous people on this planet, because they'll lie and manipulate you to believe their lies, to, like I said, to keep spinning this web around you, to control you. And yeah, those people are very, very dangerous because they're not being genuine. And authenticity is like the most valuable thing you can have in this world right now, is being authentic, or being as authentic as possible. And I can't sit up here and say, oh, I'm just authentic because I wanted to. It was a need for me. Yeah, I said, being a pretty smart kid, I knew that I shouldn't pretend to be like all these other kids, what they're doing, because they aren't getting the rewards that they're looking for. They aren't getting the responses from people that they need. So I just stayed a lot of the time to myself, said very few words to people. I pretty much spoke when I was spoken to. That just kept a lot of my thoughts to myself, because I knew that they weren't really going to change a whole lot, even though I know my words hold a whole lot of weight. They still, the reason why they hold so much weight, because I use them very sparingly. I do a lot of my thinking in my head, and then I kind of figure out what's the best way to kind of shorten everything up, and then kind of pass it along. So I learned from a young age that I kind of have to be true to myself, because like a lot of people say, you are the company that you keep. And the company that I kept for the most of my life was myself. That was pretty much it. I didn't have a whole lot of other people in my life that I had close to me. I've pretty much been solo dolo for like almost like 85% of my life, honestly. And yeah, it's a little lonely, but I've never been alone. Like being so gifted and shining so bright, you're never alone. So I've always had people thinking about me, looking after me, people on the side of love, hate. So I'm never alone. People are thinking about me now. People are going to be thinking about me for the rest of their lives, and that's a different dichotomy. I'll probably talk about that in one of these other videos. But it was lonely because there aren't a whole lot of people like me who see the world that I see it. Because like I said, I'm just so set apart from everybody else that my perspective is very unique to me. It's not the only one. I know there's people who see the world the same way as I do, but there's very few of us out here, and I'm just coming to terms with that every single day, that I'm only going to have so many people in my life who I can truly trust. Not because I don't trust people, but just trust that I know that they see the world the same way that I see it, and they'll understand all the things that I do. So many people don't understand it, so they project what they would do onto me, and it's like, that's not how this works. You're not me, I'm not you. We are each other, but overall, if you knew what I would do, you wouldn't be doing the things that you're doing. If you knew who I was, you wouldn't be acting this way, because what you're doing isn't for your best benefit long term. But going back into the story, hanging out with people I didn't want to hang out with, doing all these things I didn't want to do, I slowly started to realize these were things I needed to do to kind of protect myself and protect the people around me that were getting caught up in this mess that was being created by my local, not by my local, but by people in my local who were part of a bigger network of people who were just trying to do their best to survive. Honestly, I can't really fault them for who they are, ebbs and flows or whatever. But when you're going to war with people, you kind of have to, you should try to empathize with those people and see it from their perspective. I've been doing that a whole lot of reflecting about why these people are, in my opinion, kind of throwing their lives away unnecessarily. But it's like, what I'm doing from my perspective is like I'm just getting rid of an institution that is no longer serving its purpose. But for them, that's like their whole entire livelihood. That's all they have. So I'm pretty much destroying their home. So I get them, being very defensive, being very territorial of it. But if you're a powerful person, you don't really have to heed to those feelings. I definitely feel for them, but it's like your services are no longer needed. I can't really just sit up here and be like, oh well, I empathize with you, so therefore you get to continue doing what you're doing. It's like, nah, you guys, I was sent here for a reason. I was sent here to kind of teach you that you can't continue doing what you're doing. You guys kind of had this coming, doing what you were doing for so long. This is basically a giant cry for help that, hey, we don't know what we're doing. We're kind of just going off of what we were told and what we were taught. We kind of need some guidance. And I see what I'm doing now as giving them the guidance giving them and also the people surrounding them the guidance of like how you should be moving in the world, moving forward, and how you should be carrying yourself. Because this whole way of manipulating people and lying to people and putting on these performances, this can't continue for the species of animals that we are. We have to be authentic. Authenticity is key, and you're seeing it with the younger generation, and they're getting a whole lot of hate for it because the older generation didn't get that opportunity to be themselves. They had to continue these what's the word I'm looking for? Continue these cycles of putting on these performances of like masculinity, femininity, of just keeping on what their parents passed on to them, while also realizing that this isn't fulfilling them. This isn't actually bringing them any purpose in life. And as the generations gone on, and the IQ and the intelligence of each generation have gotten more and more further away from their parents and ancestors, people at a very younger age are realizing like, hey, I can actually be myself. I don't actually have to be what you're telling me to be. And yes, there are some extreme examples out here we're seeing of people just kind of completely just abandoning all the norms, or the vast majority of norms that we've become accustomed to, at least here in America, but all over the world. And it's jarring because that change is like very scary. Change is extremely scary for everyone. It's a little scary to me, and I'm not scared of anything, but that change is very, very daunting. So I can understand people seeing that change and want to destroy it, want to tear it down because of their own egos. And I'm seeing that this is kind of what all this is kind of boiling down to, is a lot of people with their egos. They're operating pretty much solely on their egos, and it's kind of blinding them from the truth. It's kind of keeping them from actually seeing reality for what it is. And yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's destroying their lives. But things happen for a reason, so it's like, who am I to say they're doing anything wrong? They're just kind of doing what they're put on this earth to do, and that's kind of what I'm doing as well. But I've been painting on this canvas for about 10 years with these people, with these group of people, and seeing how they operate, how they live, what they're willing to do and to say to keep their power, And I know a lot of it is fear-based as well. A lot of what they're doing is directly out of fear. They don't have a whole lot of confidence in what they're doing and what they're accomplishing and what their future goals are. It's just how they are just lying and being two-faced, not actually being genuine. It's not something that people who are ambitious and have who are very long-term goal oriented, they don't really operate that way. So it's for a while it was very confusing to see this and to see, at least back in a few years ago, like watching people, I would thought that I was just watching people throw their lives away. Truthfully, I didn't really understand why they were operating in this way and why they were doing the things that they were doing. But, doing more reflecting, being a little bit more wise about life and accepting life for what it is, getting a clearer picture of what's going on around me. I just see people just doing the best they can with what they have, and that's what we're all doing. And after the dust settles on this, even though this war that I'm in is for life, I've definitely accepted that with these people. And I know that this is just one chapter in my life. The next chapter is going to be another group of people I might have to go against because that's who I am. I do love war. I do love going to war with people. It's something that just kind of gives me some purpose, a challenge, and excitement, a little bit of drama. That's definitely what I'm all about. I'm not going to pretend anything different. I definitely am someone who just loves fighting. I love fighting people, psychologically most of the time. Just trying to play chess with everyone who wants to play chess with me. That is something that I look forward to on a daily basis. So, when the dust settles on this, please don't look at me as some type of victim. I did not start this, but I definitely am participating in it willingly. I definitely want this, but I also need to understand that I can't just keep playing with people and keep going tit for tat because other people are also part of this war who don't want to be a part of it. And that's something I'm coming to terms with when I am going to operate moving forward, is being like, okay, I'm dealing with a bunch of dangerous people who, are pretending to be people that they're not because they acquire power one way or another. And I kind of have to get to a resolution as soon as possible. There's so many people who are involved in this don't want to be involved. They just want to kind of just do their thing and kind of live their own lives. So even though I do have this lust for war and lust for just going at people and kind of pulling people's cards and seeing you're not as tough as you think you are, walking around with my scouter, checking people's power levels. People were acting like they're over 9,000, but in reality they're like 250, maybe 300. I'm just very confused, like, why are you doing this? But like I said, wisdom, be like, hey, people got to fake it till they make it. Put on a performance. I definitely get it. Like if I was them, I'll be no different. But I'm hoping that those people can eventually, at some point, get to a stage where they will give me that same empathy and being like, if you were Dimitri, would you be any different? You would. You definitely wouldn't. You'd be doing the same things I'll be doing. So I definitely empathize with these people who are doing the things that they're doing. I don't believe, like I said in a bunch of other videos, in good and evil, right and wrong. We're just all just trying to do what's best for ourselves. And we kind of have to get to a point where we empathize with each other, empathize with the people who just do the most heinous, unacceptable actions. We kind of have to stop demonizing people. Because at the end of the day, like, we're no different from each other. We're all pretty much the same. And we all have to kind of come to that conclusion that we're not better than anybody else. That's the main thing. A lot of this is people just pretending to be better than someone, And it's like, the fact that you're even doing that is you're already setting yourself up for failure long term, because we're all just shoulder to shoulder to each other. No one's in front of you, no one's behind you. We're all shoulder to shoulder. We're all just cogs in this big old machine we call life. Some cogs are bigger than others, but we're all still part of it. We all still matter. We're all still trying to work towards a bigger goal that's bigger than ourselves. It's just some of us have a bigger impact than others, and some people don't like that. Some people feel like that impact should be theirs. Like, it's like if it should have been yours, then it would have been, but it's not. So it's like kind of have to at least respect it. But I at least understand now that moving forward, I do have to empathize with people more and understand that so many people are going to look at me as a challenge and as a threat, and I gotta always accept it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. It's rooted in reality, but also understand that there's more to it than that, and I can't just be playing with people and allowing themselves to just dig a hole so deep that they can't even see how deep they've dug. You know, I kind of have to be like, all right, you've done enough. That's a pretty deep grave. You can probably stack 2,000 people in there. We're done. Move on with your life instead of just watching them just continue doing it. Because I know I'm a fire starter. I start fires and I watch it burn. I mean, I've been that way my entire life. You know, I try to be a decent person, a good person, but I'm not a nice person. I've never been nice a day in my life. You can't really be nice in this world, but I try to be a decent person every single day because I know how powerful I am. I've always known that. I've always known how much I can just do by myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a posse, a group. I don't need my boys to come in, do this, that, and the third. I don't need any of that. I can just do it myself. And that's very powerful. That's very intimidating to people, going into a situation by yourself when they don't have the courage to do that themselves. So I understand that I just have the power to flip people's worlds upside down. And I need to be very, very responsible with that power. And I feel like for the most part I have been, but there's always room for improvement. So that's this, the reflecting, the talking to other people about it, and empathy. That's helping me out so much to really empathize with these people and understand that yes, they were obstacles in my way. I did have to hurdle over them, but I can do it with a little bit of kindness. Because if you are going to kill someone, you should at least be kind about it. I feel like that'll give you the best bang for your buck if you just kind of be kind about it and not being so cruel. You know, I've been getting a lot of that venom out of me past few years, that cruelty, and it's been for my benefit because now I'm attracting more people who are like me now. I'm being more and more authentic, more genuine, more less cruel, more kind, and it's been paying off. So I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, I know that as someone who loves war, someone who's always going to war every single day, signing up for it, I definitely had to be more critical about how I do things, how I move, and understand that I am leaving essentially graveyards in my wake. You know, a lot of people, they aren't the same after they kind of cross paths with me, and I have to really understand the weight of that. You know, a lot of people don't really understand that, but when you're a very powerful person, you can't really destroy a whole lot of people. You truly, truly can. Even though for the long term, it's actually for the best, because you're destroying that ego, that performance, so they can kind of be more genuine and live a more genuine life. But it's still like a very painful process, and it's still, you know, a whole lot of people get hurt. And like I said, when I start the fires, I kind of gotta stop staying there and watching it burn. That's definitely a character flaw I gotta work on. I've been working on that. I don't think I do it anymore. But you know, just me not so much playing God and passing judgment on people, but me being like, oh, you feel like you're that person, huh? You feel like you're that guy, you're that girl. Let's find out. And I think that's fair, you know, when we're going to war, but sticking around and kind of seeing what's going on and seeing, you know, kind of enjoying the fruits of your labor, that's some cruelty that I just can't continue. It's just not something I want to do. Not something I need to do. It's a want, not a need. I don't need to stay around. I can let's start it and move on, because there are people in this world who are just going to hurt. people for like no reason because how they feel. It's like they have to. Eventually, someone's going to be sent for them. You know what I'm saying? Keep fucking around. You're going to find out one of these days. You know, you just cannot take out your anger out on other people just because. That's not cool. So, you know, I am blessed to be that person that is sent to deal with these people. You know, it is very rewarding to know that someone who is, you know, playing God with other people's lives are getting judged themselves, or getting judgment passed on them. And when you have that role of passing judgment on other people, it is a very, very rewarding, very cathartic experience. But you have to be very careful with that responsibility, because it can definitely make you feel like a god yourself in some ways, when in reality you're just a very powerful person who just was gifted with a whole bunch of things that you were born with that you can't really take a whole lot of responsibility for. Just be very grateful and being like, hey, you know, I was put on this earth to do great things, so let me do those great things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Almost got a half an hour yap session out of this one, but overall, you know, the 10 years I've been working on this, paint on this canvas, like I said, with these people, because like I said, they're very dangerous. You know, I'm being very vague about it because I feel like I need to be. I don't want to out people out too much. Like I said, that's in my opinion, that's a little cruel doing that, because I don't see these people as bad people. They're not villains. I'm not a hero. They're not a villain. We're all pretty much the same, but at the same time, I know I had to step in. You know, I was sent to them, and they were sent to me for a reason, and we gotta do this like very, very specific and aggressive dance with each other for all these years, and you know, all good things will have to come to an end at some point. So it's yeah, just give me some things to reflect on and to pass that on to other people. So, you know, there's like a saying: if you're good at something, you shouldn't do it for free. And it's like nothing in life is free. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I charge people is their time. That's it. 'Cause you can't get it back. It's the most useful and important resource that we have is our time. So I don't need your money. I don't need your gifts or whatever. If you give me your time, I'll definitely make the most of it. And if I don't, please let me know. I'll definitely improve. I try to make these videos as informational as possible. I'll try to condense everything as much as possible, so you can at least get some decent value out of it. If you don't, like I said, please let me know. I'll definitely improve. But yeah, just kind of reflecting on what's going on with me, going on to a different chapter. You know what I'm saying? This arc, it's been longer than the goddamn Namek arc, but it was definitely worth it. It's made me the man that I am today, and it would definitely bring on so many opportunities moving forward. You know, I'm going to miss these days, these struggle days of the unknown, and every day is unknown, but the unknown and things are just, you know, up in the air. You know, after this, things are going to be a little bit more known, and people are actually going to have a clearer picture of what this is and what I'm talking about. But as of right now, I'm definitely digging it. You know, the suffering that other people put you through only makes you stronger, only makes you more resilient. And I'm very, very grateful for that, because you can't bring suffering onto yourself. Only others can do that for you. And when people are willing to do that for you, that means that you matter. Because so many people are walking through life aimless, don't really have a whole lot of direction, don't really have a whole lot of ambition. And I feel for those people, because I'm on the other end of the spectrum on that one. I have so much ambition, so much direction, so much drive, and that attracts so many people to me. And yeah, they see that, like I said, they hate that. So they either want to control you. If they can't control you, then they're going to destroy you. And I can't be destroyed, unfortunately. So many people have tried that since I was a baby, and they all failed, because that's not what you were put on this earth to do. You were put on this earth to be an obstacle, you were not a destroyer. Trust me, I know destroyers when I see one. You are not one of those. one of those people. So yeah, just get my thoughts out. Trying to give you guys some of my wisdom. You know, I'm still pretty young. I feel like I got a decent amount of it because I've seen a whole lot. I've been through a whole lot. But overall, whenever you go through adversities, to understand like it's for your benefit. You don't get anywhere in life without adversities. You know, you have a easy road in life. You're not going to really have a whole lot of depth to you. You know, people who are really have substance to them, they have been and seen a whole lot. So if that is who you are, just try to be very grateful for that opportunity because you can make something very beautiful out of it. And I know I am. After everything I've been through and everything that I've seen, I'm going to make something beautiful out of it to not only keep it from happening to other people, because who am I to keep people from being great, but at the same time I want to give people that validation that all of this is going to be worth it at the end of the day. You know, everything happens for a reason. So sure, a lot of unfortunate things might happen to you, but what are you going to do with it? You know, what are you going to do with those experiences? You know, I know what I'm doing with them. I'm about to pass them along and be like, hey, this happened to me, this happened to you, this is what you do, it's kind of what you do with it, and move on and be great. So that's all I got for y'all today. Take it easy.